Welcome to Three Season a Pod NBA edition, episode
Yes, sir. That's good.
4.
Mhm.
Yeah, we back.
Yeah. Episode something, we just back. Okay. Okay. Anyway, we'll jump right into it. A lot of shit has happened since we took our unexpected hiatus.
Yep.
We're gonna jump right into it. First trade that happened, the Knicks and the Raptors. Okay. So the Knicks traded RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, and some other shit to the Raptors for OG Anunoby and probably like a second round pick or some shit.
Yeah.
I think they gave a first round pick to the Raptors too, right? Did they not?
I can pull up the trade
I think
details.
so.
Maybe they did, maybe they didn't.
The Knicks also got Precious.
Oh yeah,
They
the
did
Knicks
get-
got Precious Achiuwa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I believe the Pelican, it was a 3-team trade with the
Yeah,
Pelicans. The Pelicans
Pelicans
sent Kira.
threw some salary filler in there. But you know what? I think all right. This was my initial reaction, and I think the last I know it's a small sample size, but like the last 10 games have kind of affirmed my initial reaction for me at least. I think it's a win-win trade, man. I think I think this was a really good deal for the Raptors. They got good value for OG. I know they were looking for like 4 first-round picks last year,
Crazy.
which is an insane ask for a player like OG. But overall, I think RJ Barrett needed a change of scenery from the Knicks,
Yes.
and he's been playing pretty well in Toronto. I think IQ has been really wanting a starter's role, and he
Mhm.
gets that opportunity with the Raptors. You know, you're not gonna start over Jalen Brunson. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I think OG is a really good fit with the Knicks. I think he doesn't really need the ball in his hands to play his role, like I feel
Mhm.
RJ Barrett did, and even IQ. I think IQ needs the ball in his hands to be effective, and it's kind of showed in their record, man. The Knicks are 8-2 since they got OG. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, Tibbs in Tibbs fashion, he's kind of like, you know, running the treads off those tires. You know,
I think they had him like 40 plus
40,
minutes.
they're
to,
42
like,
minutes a game for
Yeah,
for
that's
everybody,
crazy.
which is crazy. But they're winning. You know, they're winning.
Yeah.
And I like the fit, man. I do think it's interesting where the Raptors will go after this. I know RJ just signed an extension, so he's there long term.
Mhm.
And I think IQ is due up for a new contract after this
Yeah.
year.
Yep.
It'll be interesting how much he wants to get paid. I know he was talking about like 4 years, 100 mil, 25 mil a year. But overall, I like the trade for both teams, man. The Raptors needed a retool / rebuild type situation,
Yep.
and the Knicks, I think, were kind of looking to get away from RJ
Yeah.
most likely, and you know IQ was kind of like a collateral damage in there,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they needed to include him to get OG. And I know a lot of people were saying that's way too much for OG. I disagree. I think he's a really underrated player, in my eyes, and I think he's kind of like maybe perfect going too far, but he's a really good fit.
Yeah. I mean, most people aren't going to be like watching OG and shit like that, but I do agree. He's super underrated. But yeah, the actual like trade details was just OG, Malachi Flynn, Precious to the Knicks, and then RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, and then a Detroit second round pick to the Raptors.
Funny. So, just offside. Malachi Flynn is evil Dante DiVincenzo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like the trade for both sides for sure. I think on the Knicks side, I was a huge fan, just because OG doesn't like command the ball a lot. So for the Knicks to kind of not like, I mean, there is a black hole in Julius Randle, but Jalen Brunson is your best player, so that's not. I wouldn't equate that to being a black hole. But having 2 black holes on the team is kind of crazy, and it's not like the most beneficial. So for OG to not demand a lot, but then his defensive output is like clearly, at least in my opinion, would be the best on the team. And I mean, we've seen like a bunch of clips, at least for me on like Twitter, of just like OG defensive things on the Knicks so far.
Yeah.
And it's been crazy. So that was just like a perfect fit for me, and I think like it reminds me of what the Raptors already did, but I feel like the Knicks have another piece to build off of that. Like I don't think they're gonna stop with just the OG villain, but I think they're gonna have him be the first piece to getting that the next iteration of this team and having like that superstar next to Jalen Brunson, in my opinion. So that was really nice, and I think basically a really good building block for them and for the Raptors. And I like what they did, and I like it even more, especially after the next trade that we'll be talking about with Pascal. But yeah, because the route that they took, basically like this was the retool trade, while the other one was kind of like the rebuild trade. But getting RJ in quickly, I think quickly specifically is super like reminiscent to me of like just Maxi, and I think like he can have very similar like output to what like Maxi is doing at this moment, and that's like the perfect like running mate with Scotty. Not that I think he would be like the number 2 or anything like that, but there is like it's a core to build off of and to at least test out to see if they could be that 1 and 2. And RJ, I think, especially with the play that he's been doing right now, even though he's been shooting like other fucking worldly in terms of percentages, it's less it's less of a risk. It's still a core piece that you can decide if you want to keep working with afterwards, but they're all under that like 25 range. So for them to be able to kind of decide whether or not they want to like keep RJ and like what they want to do with quickly later on and stuff like that, I think it's just a really good like youth movement that they can get going, other than like compared to what they were doing in like the past like 2 years and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, shout out to Masai. I'm a hater. I'm not a believer, but I think he at least learned that you shouldn't let your fucking free agent, like your potential players just leave for nothing, and instead you should probably trade them for some kind of assets, because and not like not like some otherworldly assets like fucking 4 first round picks for OG. So at least he was able to get stuff out of it for an expiring like Pascal 2 later on, which we'll talk about. But I think it was good, and he finally accepted the youth movement. And I'm like, so it was a win-win for both, in my opinion, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I like the trade a lot. For Raptors, I mean, RJ gets to go home. He gets to, I don't know, I feel like, I think I saw, or the last game when they played against Chicago, they were saying, like, he's kind of like in a new mindset, I guess now. He's kind of treating it like, even though he's back at home, like, basketball is basketball. He's going to take care of what he got to take care of because it's his job. And then, like, he's able to, like, live his outside life. But, I mean, that maybe that correlates, but shit, like, just to be back at home and kind of just find, like, a new love, I guess, for the game again. Like, we all don't know the situation in New York. Like, we don't know how he was feeling, but I think just a new chapter in his career, I guess, might be able to, like, revitalize him in some type of way. And so far, he's been playing pretty decent, aside from the shooting. But, like, there's still going to be critics out there saying, he ain't got no right hand, no left and stuff like that. But I think all in all, like, with this new opportunity, he's just going to be able to improve and kind of grow. And same for quickly, for sure. I know I saw his the coach had some comments about, like, who he could become, I guess, and kind of drew comparisons to Jrue Holiday, saying, like, he got to eat more. He got the defensive abilities. As long as he could grow, eat more, he'll definitely could reach some type of level. Well, I mean, Jrue Holiday's fucking a beast, so that's kind of a lot to ask for. I mean, at least the coach can see the coach can see the potential there. So that's kind of like a good way to look at it, especially for a young upcoming team with a lot of young assets and players that definitely will be able to get better. And then as for, like, the Knicks, I do like the OG pickup. At first it was kind of like, cultural shock, I guess, because I stayed kind of close to the Knicks because I got my cousins Joshua and Cisco over there. But, like, it was kind of like I kind of like had to give him that call. Like, damn, that's how I felt when Marcus Smart got traded. RJ gone, shit like that. But at the end of the day, the Knicks had to they had to make a move. I think we all
Agree.
kind of attested to that. Like, they needed. Maybe this is definitely not the superstar that like they need alongside Brunson and Randall. But again, just another complementary piece to that duo, that tandem. Kind of goes to show like they're 8-2 in the last 10. So just making that shift definitely helped them. And I think just in that little sample size, again, I'm pretty sure you guys already said like this is not going to stop them from making another move, kind of, increase their chances and become a better team come playoff time or in the next couple of years. So, just I mean, all in all, the trade was definitely a win-win on both sides.
Yeah, and honestly, just to touch on the RJ Barrett thing a little bit, I mean, he probably falls into that category of like not every player can play in a big market, especially as a number 3 overall pick in a city like New York, or even I don't think he would work out in a city like LA, even where you're a top pick, you're expected to be something he probably isn't, which I don't think he would be. Like most fans are gonna draw straight to, oh, you're a top 3 pick, you need to be like a 1A, and RJ's not a 1A. You know what I mean?
I think like he was also just in the horrible, like the worst
system,
the worst piece next to him, being like Randall. And like I do have fears that like him and Scotty, like he might take away from Scotty a little bit. But I mean, if he becomes a better shooter or like remains consistent in this kind of shooting, then that is like irrelevant. But I think Randall is even worse than Scotty in that, because like Scotty's looking to play make and stuff like that, while Randall is a scorer first, and it gets kind of like tunnel vision and stuff like that. So it is like when I say black hole, I dead ass mean it.
The rim is up there somewhere.
Yeah. So like Scotty isn't a black hole, but he's just not a great shooter as well. But those can work. Like two non-shooters, while it's not like ideal for like a championship, they're not going for a championship. So like it can work, and I think they can go coexist. But I think RJ, like the perception of him has been even worse because of who he played alongside with. Because that they were just extremely redundant. It just reminds me of like Westbrook and LeBron playing together. Like Westbrook is doing fine on the Clippers, and like he's still an impact player, but on the Lakers he just looked like trash, and that was just highlighted by everyone else like hating on him, because it made no sense to give Westbrook the ball over LeBron, because LeBron was clearly better in similar ways. That's like, RJ and Randall have like the same exact skill set, so it's like there's no point in giving the lesser person or like the lesser ability the ball more often than not,
So you kind of can see the difference though. When he's on the Knicks expecting him to just be a freaking spot up shooter, like shooter in the corner and shit. And that, in my opinion, is not like RJ's best asset. I think he's more of a slasher, in my opinion. So, and you kind of can see that when he playing in Toronto. He definitely, the ball in his hands, just being able to attack the basket and just kind of, get a feel of the game off of that. And then, like, occasionally he'll get his threes here and there, but that's not who he is. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, I agree. It's just hard to have 3 slashers on the team. Because Brunson is for sure a slasher too.
Yeah. And then moving on to the next trade, also involves the Raptors. The Raptors are wheeling and dealing. The Raptors are doing what the Bulls should be doing.
That's facts. That is facts. But the Raptors have more appealing. They have more appealing.
They do
assets.
Yeah, they really do. So the other trade was Indy and Toronto. Spicy P to the Pacers, and Bruce Brown and 3 firsts to Toronto. And
yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I also think this is a win-win, all around. I think that's really good value for Siakam, who likely is walking. I think he said this. He's like, "Oh, I'm walking if you don't give me a supermax."
Yeah, and I mean, like those are like leverage moves for sure.
Leverage moves, but
because apparently, like he was trying to go to the Pacers.
Was he?
Yeah. So like, Hallie had been in talks with him, and like I think Woj reported that that was like the destination that he wanted to go to, preferred. Hallie was trying to convince him to try it out and like resign, and then I think the day that he ended up getting traded, they were just saying that it was he was very likely to like resign already.
Mm.
Obviously, that's not like it'll only happen when it happens. Like once he signs it, that's a different story. But for now, like his feeling is that he's decided to like resign and all that stuff.
I mean, shit, that makes the haul even better, in my opinion. You
got I agree.
You got 3 first-round picks for a guy that wanted to go to one team, and you got a good role player out of it. I think that's really good for Toronto, and then for the Pacers. I know we had talks in the group chat about this. When it happened, but I actually really like Siakam in Indy. I think he's a good fit next to Hallie. I think we talked about this before, where something the Pacers had been missing was a secondary shot creator, whether it be for himself or even just to draw the defense in and give Hallie a break, right? Because right now, prior to the trade, it was Hallie or nothing, right? And I think Siakam brings that different look to the team.
20, dude, he's just a shot creator that none of them are.
Yeah, exactly.
Outside of Hallie,
he can score 20 to 25 on his own. He doesn't need someone to feed him the ball. But I think it's gonna take a little bit of time. It's only been one game, I believe they've played. I want to see maybe 10 games from now how that fit looks together. But on paper and just looking at the type of player Siakam is and how the Pacers were built at that time, I think he's a really good fit, and he'll slide right in. And I think that team is good, man. I think that team actually kind of elevated themselves from like probably a question mark. I know I had them as my bold prediction, but I think they're elevated from like question mark, likely play-in team to honestly, I feel a top 6 team in the East.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I
the
feel
Pacers though.
I feel the same way with the Pascal fit and stuff like that. I think it's like the perfect team for him to go to, just because of all the I think either the Raptors or the Pacers were number 1, but they were interchangeable. 1 and 2 were 1 and 2 for fast break points and stuff like that. So he's literally either going to the number 2 or he's going to the number 1 team. And I think like he is himself like top 5 in scoring in that department as well. But yeah, like Hallie is leading for now, a historic offense, like one like first ever, in terms of like efficiency and points per game and stuff like that. And he has a team full of like people who are not known as scorers. Like they're efficient like 3-point shooters, and basically that's it, honestly. Like no one is really like a bucket on that team except maybe like Benny.
Yeah.
But even then he's still a second year player. But no one is like a shot creator or like a offensive player that Pascal is. So for them to already be in that caliber of offense, it's going to be like really exciting for me to watch, because Pascal just adds a whole other like half court dynamic to the team. While they're like super fun from like one end to the other end, I do think they like lack that outside of Hallie for someone to just be able to like save this possession for like 5 seconds left on the shot clock type shit.
Yeah.
And Pascal is way more of like a downhill player, so having actual shooters around him for once is going to be crazy, because on the Raptors, him and Scotty had like redundant abilities, so it's like they were able to coexist still, because they were still like playmakers and they would take shots on the outside and stuff. But you could easily tell that they played the same exact role as in that point forward playmaker. And then even outside of that, they were playing with Jakob. So it's like that's 3 kind of non-shooters, even though Scotty has gotten a lot better with his 3-point shot this year. So for him to get like Miles Turner as his center, and then like you got Buddy Hield and Hallie, 40 plus percentage 3-point shooters, and then their wing could be like Neesmith or something like that, who is regarded as a 3-point shooter as well. It's just a crazy switch up. So I could see him thriving very much so in this offense.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I agree. I mean, I think the trade for the Indy was definitely improved them off of what they already are. Again, there's only one game, but I mean, I have my thoughts, like long term, I guess you could say. But I think right now it was the best thing the Pacers could have did to improve their roster. To bring in a guy like that who has championship experience could definitely help and teach this young core, especially upcoming superstar, Hallie. and to kind of just become a tandem and figure it out and really try to make a deep run in the playoffs and stuff like that. I think just overall, I think that team is built for a team for someone like Siakam. Obviously, with the way that he plays and the way he pushes the tempo, and that's already how Indy likes to play. So I think it's definitely a good fit. I think it just kind of raises concerns for me, like when it comes to the playoff. That that's why I said in the group chat, like they have to finish top four, in my opinion. But I mean, that I guess that's a conversation for like towards the end of the season and how the standings shake up and stuff like that. But I think just overall, like again, Siakam's just going to bring a new element to that team and kind of help them build off of what they already have going over there. And I think Rick Carlisle is going to do a good job of kind of implementing that and making sure that he's going to be comfortable and that he's going to be in a position to where he wants to resign and stay with that team long term. And as for the Raptors, I think they definitely got a good side of it. This was a more of the rebuild trade that Rosette was talking about. And I know I saw some reports saying that there's teams interested in Bruce Brown, so maybe they could flip him for more assets, depending on the route they want to take, I guess. Mm-hmm. But they also have Gary Trent they could get off of. So I feel like the Raptors are in a good position. Either way, if they won't be the worst team in the East, but at the same time, it's like if they wanted to just completely go into rebuild mode, they can.
Yeah, so, I mean they're way better than any rebuilding teams at the moment.
Yeah,
especially with the talent that they already have. But I do agree. Like on the Raptors end, this is with this is the other half of the retool that I really like. I don't think these picks aren't going to be anything too crazy, especially because it's going to be the Pacers pick this year, which is mid to like early 20s in my opinion.
20s, yeah.
And then it's probably going to be OKC's, which is like late 20s as well.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the first two picks, and then the 2026. Well, that one is just like that could be the most value basically because you don't know where the Pacers are going to be. But yeah, those being the three picks, I don't think it's as good of a haul as you could have gotten for someone who is an expiring contract. But I don't blame the Pacers at all for going for that because it's like those three picks in your eyes are basically like irrelevant. You're not going to continue building in the lottery because you already have someone as good as Hallie on your team who is catapulting your team into like play in like low playoff contention. So yeah, for the Raptors to receive that was still like good because expiring contract is very hard to get any kind of picks for someone like that. And shout out to the Pacers too for capitalizing on Hallie. We've seen a lot of like I know the first two like examples that people were talking about was just like Trae Young and LaMelo, where it's like those are promising point guards and like all NBA caliber point guards, but they've received like barely any support. And like the first glimpse of Hallie having that similar output and being on the verge of being like all NBA, they capitalize on it and get like a Pascal Siakam for him and really try to. I feel like they're in a good position regardless of being able to be a competitive team and then still be able to jump if there's another opportunity to get even better. Because I like this is a whole other conversation, but I do think it'll be kind of hard for Hallie to lead a team to a championship. No matter how far he progresses, I still think it will be like extremely hard. I think it will always be like your best player has to be like a wing or like a center, like a Jokic. But he's even an anomaly. But I do think regardless, a wing is like the formula for like being a championship team as like your number one, in my opinion. So that is, like I said, a whole nother conversation. But for now, they're just trying to think about being competitive and like maybe even having a puncher's chance of getting to the conference finals or finals, something like that. So I like this pick a lot from, or like I like this pickup a lot from them, and shout out to them for being proactive.
I think an underrated part of that trade too was they were able to keep Benny and Jirachi Walker, and I know that team is high on them, but mainly because obviously it's not gonna happen this year, but maybe next year or the year after, while those guys develop more, they become valuable assets to get that potential 1A. You know what I mean? Because I agree. I don't think Howard is going to be a 1A on a championship team.
Yeah.
That team's going to be fun now. And then same thing with the Raptors. 3 firsts, 3 firsts, man. Doesn't matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
So like
Picks up picks,
the
man.
league is going to value first round picks. So like maybe
Yeah.
another team is like, once the situation arises and the opportunity comes, right? There's always going to be a disgruntled star or a team looking to offload a star, and those picks become, or young players become, super valuable. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's
And
gonna
I
be-
mean, like the Raptors have always done a good job of developing their players, anyways.
Yeah,
So it's like being in the 20s is not really a problem, in my opinion, for them.
for sure. But yeah, moving on. Final topic. All Stars. We just got.
Yes, sir.
I think today is the last day to vote, right?
Okay, I thought it was yesterday, but it probably is today.
One of the days. I don't remember. I don't. but anyway, I think we're gonna get the final fan voting portion
Yeah.
next week. Well, let's talk starters and reserves and all-star list. I don't
Let's
know
do
if
it.
you
We
guys
can
wanna go
do
first.
East starters and then West starters and then East reserves and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
So we'll
Um,
start with East, I guess.
Yeah, we can start East, but we
And-
can go down our list like guards to front court or back court to front court.
Yeah. So we'll do the starters first, though. And
Yeah.
I'm just reading off the current leaders in voting. So
Yeah.
for the forwards, it's Giannis, Embiid, and Tatum. And then for the guards, it's Hallie and Trey at the moment.
hmm
I actually think that holds with the fan voting, and it'll probably hold, honestly, with the eventual starting 5. I don't know if you guys agree.
I disagree with one.
I disagree with one.
Probably Trey, right?
Yeah, it's Trey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Trey.
So my front court or my back court was Hallie and Dono.
Mm,
Same.
yeah.
Did you have Trey?
My selection would be Dono, but I feel like it's gonna end up being Trey.
Yeah, I'm going off my. This is my.
Yeah, no, I
We're
agree.
doing our own
Yeah.
personal like picks.
Yeah. Out there.
I definitely have Dono, man.
Dono's definitely the
He's
more
been-
deserving player.
Yeah, so I mean, Hallie's
Yeah.
Hallie. We already know he's been
Yeah.
doing great.
Mhm.
Honestly, like, in terms of point guard, probably like top point guard so far in the East. And Dono's been holding it down for the
Yeah.
Cavs after like the 2 major injuries to Garland and Mobley. And honestly, I thought they were gonna not like fall off the face of the planet or or anything like that. But I did think they were gonna start dropping games and stuff like that. But if anything, they've been the same or even better. Like they've risen. They were like 6. They were hovering around like 6,
It was
7. I think.
6-7, yeah.
Yeah, when those 2 guys went down, so I was like, oh shit, maybe they like really get down to the bottom of the play-in or like maybe even get out because they only just have Jared Allen and Dono. But since then, they've risen to the 4th seed, and Dono has been killing it. They've won 7 straight too. So this was kind of the Cavs team that we were all envisioning in terms of like production.
Coming in,
Obviously, we haven't seen the 4 of them play in a minute. But this was definitely in terms of where they would be placed in the seedings that we thought they would be. So I had to give some props to Donald for that and give him that starting
Sure.
spot.
And then you guys just want to go down your list?
Yeah, I think the front court is just universal between us 3. There's just no way that front court doesn't
No way.
exist for the East.
No, I'm not starters. I'm talking about the reserves.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just saying like
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't think anybody's
we
arguing.
all know the front court.
Yeah,
okay.
nobody's arguing
So
those. three.
JT, Giannis, and Embiid.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
guaranteed. I mean, they're like the top 3 vote getters outside of LeBron. Like
Yeah,
it goes LeBron, Giannis, and then Embiid, Tatum, like in voting.
yep.
So
Which is extremely fair. Like
Yeah.
all those 3 are that's the front court.
that's
But actually, yeah,
the-
we could finish
Yeah.
with the East reserves actually, and then
Yeah.
move to the West completely
I
after.
feel like that makes more sense. So
Okay.
I forget it. Yeah. So
I'm,
are we doing guards and then forwards, or are we just doing like?
let's just do the list.
Okay, so like I had Brunson for sure.
Mhm.
He honestly has a case for being like a starter, but I just think what Dono's been doing
Agreed.
puts him in that starter category for me. But Brunson is
Yep.
literally like the next one up for in that list for me.
I also had Brunson. Yep.
Okay, and then I had Scotty.
Mhm.
Same.
He's been doing great. Percentages everywhere have been amazing. Increased on all of his statistical stuff. And yeah, he's been having I mean, some people were even having him MIP talk. So for him to have that big of a jump, I think deserves an all-star. And
Agreed.
Personally, for my list too, I like to shout out every team, kind of. At least, especially in this kind of league where there's so many talented players on all these teams. So I don't really like to give 2 or 3 to the top teams and stuff like that.
Right.
Similar to what you were saying before we started this. So yeah, I had Brunson, Scotty, I had JB because Celtics are the number 1 seed.
Exactly. Same.
And I think they deserve that clearly for being the top record, and JB's definitely not having his best statistical season, but he's still having a relatively good season. I had Bam because he's been holding that shit down for the Heat. I don't know if it's statistically his best season, but he has been way more aggressive from what I've seen. Defense still holds up. And yeah, even small thing like rebounding has been just as great. And the Heat are actually not completely sandbagging this season, so they're 6th.
Right.
So in seeding, so that's cool. And then that's where I did have Trey, but he's his reserve. He's been having his best season, I think, as well too. Unfortunately, the team success isn't as great, but individually, he's been best season for sure. I did have Maxey as well.
Same.
Just because of his jump up to stardom. I kind of just like the narrative, but also it's not like the team isn't good. They're top 3 in the East, and Maxey's been a big part of that, especially because Embiid has missed a decent chunk of games too. Okay. So
let's see if this last one is different.
Yeah, this last one, I saved it for last because I'm pretty sure it's going to be different. So I had Paolo. So
deserved though.
Yeah, top 8. They are in the play-in, but he has been the best player on a team that has surprised most teams, I guess, because they are in playoff contention. He definitely has had ups and downs as a second-year player, but he's had really, really good stretches. Franz has been out for a little bit, and I mean they've had lots of injuries like they usually do.
Yep.
Wendell's been out, Fultz has been out, Jalen Suggs is in and out, and now Franz has been out too. But Paolo has been like that. Yeah. Yep. Paolo has been that consistent. I don't think he has been out like that or even injured. And he's remained steady in my opinion. So I had him, and then those were all my East picks. I think the only honorable mention, since it's the only one on the East side that was an honorable mention, was Dame. Okay. For me it was just Dame and Maxey, but Maxey has just been more efficient and better statistically. And like I said, it was more of a narrative thing for me. I just Maxey's come up. So I personally wanted to vote to choose Maxey over Dame. And I like Paolo too, because he's the youngin. I like choosing the youngins.
Yeah. You want to go first, Nathan?
Sure. Yeah, I go. So my first reserve, JV. Self-explanatory. Second, Maxey. And, definitely. That's Scotty, Bam, Brunson, and then the last 2 it's more personal preference, you could say. I think Trey's obviously, like you said, having the best career, season, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But me personally, I take Dame over Trey. So I got Dame, and then the last one was toss up too. I always got to go with my Celtics. So I got KP, but it was crazy. KP and Paulo. But it had to be, it definitely be Paulo.
Yeah,
I had that written down. But yeah, that Celtic in me, wants KP to make it, but I know he probably won't. Paulo definitely deserving though. So
right,
yeah,
same. So I ended up giving Trey a spot. So we pretty much have essentially the same list.
Yeah,
I put Dame in because I'm rewarding winning here as well.
Yeah,
I know we have our little things against the Bucks, but they are 29-13. My honorable mentions were Paolo, and I'm gonna be biased. I don't give a fuck. My honorable mentions are Derek White and Porzingis. So
that's funny.
But no, for real. I think the East was a little bit easier than the West.
Yeah,
But
no, I agree.
But it really is a toss up because
Like I said, my only snub was Dame, in my opinion.
yeah, I mean, if Paolo makes it over Dame, I ain't gonna be mad. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
So that was my only thing, but I do think Brunson definitely needs to make it this year. I do think Scotty definitely deserves it this year. I don't
Honestly, my top 3, like for they should be locks, are
reserves?
Brunson. Yeah, for reserves are locks
Yeah.
are like Brunson, Scotty, and Bam.
Yeah.
I think those 3 have actually
Same.
been like having great seasons and like holding it down for their teams.
Same. And honestly, I'm gonna throw biased my homerism in there. I think JB's a lock too. Like
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's a lock in my opinion because just perception, but personally, I would have him in there too.
with 32 and 10, man.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Like at this point, I think the coaches will look into winning as a thing to reward. And I
Yeah.
know he's not having his best statistical season, and even amongst the other players, like statistically, not the best, but he is playing the best basketball of his career. So
Yeah.
I think they
But-
reward that.
Yeah, like I said, I'm more on the boat of this is like unrelated. This is you like with the Dame thing.
Yeah.
Like winning. I just like not having
Two-
I like having like representatives from like each team and stuff like that. So
I get it.
I feel like the Magic deserve an all-star basically.
They do for sure.
Sorry, Dame, you're out.
That's my thing. I like sorry, Dave. Sorry, but
man. But honestly, pretty much the same rotation. Of
yeah,
players.
it's not too much variance. I don't think there's gonna be much variance in the West either. But
There are some guys I thought deserved All-Star nods that I threw in.
but true,
rotation.
based off of philosophy, maybe it'll be a little
Yeah.
different. One just came like he came in the cut randomly. Like I think last week I wouldn't have had him, but this week he's in there now.
We have the same player.
Mm.
Is it the same
We
player?
might.
So,
But
um,
they came as a shock, bro.
okay, so starters. I'm just going off the list of the
Yeah,
recent voting. LeBron, Joker, and KD for the forwards. Luka and Steph for the guards. What y'all think?
Mhm.
I think the forwards are kind of a lock.
Forwards are a lot.
Or the Fords?
LeBron, Joker, and KD.
Okay. So yeah, I have like I said, this is my pick. These are my picks. I did not have that shit.
Okay. Who you
I got so as for my backcourt, I got Luka and Shea.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I mean there's no need to like talk about that. They're both like top 5 in MVP. They've been killing it.
Mhm.
My front court is Kawhi, AD, and Jokic.
Mm.
Kawhi, bro, they've only lost like 2 games since they've been like in like 2 months. It's of like
Yeah.
when he was playing healthy. He missed like maybe 5 to 7 games, or maybe like less than that. Probably like 5-6 games.
He's been healthy this year.
Yeah, but other than that, he's been healthy. His efficiency was started to go crazy, and they barely lost when he was actively playing with them, and they started figuring it out with Harden and stuff within that like January December stretch. So that was crazy too. So he's been playing like an all NBA player in my opinion.
Yeah.
AD has been the best player on the Lakers, consistently holding it down. He's been healthy relatively too.
Yep.
So I would give him the nod over LeBron. Obviously, like LeBron is still an all-star, and he probably will be a starter because he's LeBron and it's like fan voting and shit.
That's what I was looking at too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but like I said, I'm choosing like my own shit. So my starters,
No, that's fair.
AD has been the best player on the Lakers, so he's easily the starter for me. And then Jokic is Jokic, so that just makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think LeBron's just getting that Jordan treatment.
Oh yeah, no, he's
Yeah,
going to be
yeah.
a starter
He's
regardless.
gonna be a
And
starter regardless. Yeah.
same thing with KD. Probably he's probably going to be a starter. I think
Yeah.
KD and Kawhi
Easily.
could probably contest each other about who's going
Yeah.
to start, but LeBron is 100% in it. There's no way he's
No,
not.
for
Mhm.
sure. I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, go ahead, Nathan.
Well, I got Luka, Shea, Dame, and then I just stuck with the Brown, KD, Joker. I mean, Jokic.
Yo.
Joker.
Joker. Yeah. That's my starters.
No, for sure. I also have Shai in my starters, but I think Steph ends up starting. Honestly, if that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe.
He's gonna
Mhm.
end up starting. Like,
Yeah, I could see it. Just like
It's-
a
the
legacy thing.
It's the legacy
Yeah, yeah.
thing. Unfortunately,
I would
for
love
Shai.
to have Shea start though.
Yeah, Luka
Yeah.
and Shea.
Yeah.
But I think KD's having a great season, so he's probably gonna end up just with the fan voting and everything. He's gonna end up starting. I also have KD there because
Mm.
one of my favorite non-Celtics. So I'm gonna be a little biased there. So reserves. So
Reserves.
this one's interesting.
Y'all got this.
I can go first.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So under the assumption Steph starts. All right?
Yeah,
I'm
that's fine.
under-
Yeah, you do your own
I'm
reserves.
doing
Yeah.
under the assumption Steph is starting and LeBron is starting, right? I have Shea, I have Ant, I have PG, I have Kawhi. Okay, one of Sabonis or Fox, only one.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Only
I
one
agree
of
with
them.
that one.
I don't know who,
Yep.
because they're both having really good seasons, but only one of them can make it. And then AD, was that
Mhm.
6? And then I had to reward Zion, man, because the Pelicans are doing really good.
Okay, no, we have different lists.
Yeah, we have a really different list. And then I could throw out
Not
my
really different.
I could
but
throw out my
different.
honorable mentions though.
We can do that after.
No,
We can do that
do it
after.
after. Okay, good.
Yeah. Nathan can go next for reserves.
Me, for me, for sure, easily Ant, PG, Steph. I had it's crazy you rewarded Zion because I rewarded Bi,
Mm.
and then I had one of, like you said, the Aaron Fox or Sabonis. I have AD, and then the last one is probably gonna be a surprise, but I had to reward Sengun.
Ooh, okay. You didn't
Yeah.
have Kawhi on there, or did you have Kawhi starting?
I had, if I'm being honest, it was between Bi and Kawhi.
Oh, that's
I
crazy.
feel like
Ooh.
Kawhi's been
like-
going crazy this season.
I know he's been going crazy, but I feel like Bi's just been holding it down. I mean, he's been out too, and Kawhi's been out. But I mean, I wouldn't be mad at either or. Like, I just had to reward somebody from the Pelicans, and if I did, I chose Bi over Zion. And I feel like I already picked PG for the Clippers, and I don't know if they're gonna reward 2 Clippers. I mean, even though they're top 3, top
They've been
4
on,
in the West.
they've been on a heater, so
Yeah.
I know they've been on the Heat.
Hey, I mean, I
Kawhi,
think Kawhi's been having a better season than PG for sure.
he's bad, but I think I just personally like PG more than Kawhi.
Yeah. I mean, these are your picks.
yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, so because I had Kawhi, AD, and Jokic as starters, KD and Curry. Curry, low-key more of like a legacy pick. He hasn't been having a crazy season, but
100%.
yeah, I think he's just in there. KD's been having a great season though. Ant as well, obviously number 1 seed, T-Wolves.
Yeah.
Braun because he wasn't in my starters, and then I had Fox for the Kings, and then I actually had Rudy for the T-Wolves as well. That's one of the only ones where I was like, I'm a reward for winning because he's
they're the number
a
one.
huge reason. Yeah, like he's a huge reason why. And if I'm being consistent and giving JB
I respect it. Yeah.
that, I think Rudy deserves that because, low key, I mean, he's DPOY type numbers, so that
Probably
and
is the DPOI.
yeah, so that in itself rewards an all-star in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, if we're teetering the line of saying JB is a lock, I'm like, Rudy DPOI and
Yeah.
the number 1 seed.
The 30
I would give
100%.
Yeah, I would give that to him. And then actually had Lowry as an all-star.
That was my on the fence guy.
Yeah, so like because the Jazz have been on the fucking heater,
Yep.
and like he's been backpacking that shit. They're not even that far off from like the Kings, and they're 1 game off from. No, they're not. I lied. They're like 2.5 games off from the Kings and the Suns and stuff like that. But like I said, a week ago, this may have been different because they were going crazy. They were on a crazy streak. So yeah, like I said, I like to vary it out. The only one that I didn't give any player to was just the Pelicans, just because the Pelicans are
They're kind
of like a meh team. Like neither Zion or Bi have been like amazing to me.
They're
Like
winners,
all-star,
man.
yeah, like all-star worthy, but they just beat up on like bad teams for sure. But then they just look like not great against like good or like better teams and stuff. Which is fine. Like I mean, they're enough to be in the playoff contention and stuff like that. But yeah, none of their players have struck me as like putting together an all-star season. It's more so just like meh, which is fine. It's kind of odd. It's kind of odd.
25 and 18.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
currently the
very
5th
odd.
seed. So I think for me at least, I wanted to reward at least one of their players.
Yeah, I'm just
The
like
top six,
neither
you know what I
neither Bi or Zion is like more impressive than any of the guys that I've listed so far.
Yeah, I mean, if they were like the 10th seed, I probably wouldn't list any of them.
Dude, if they were the 10th
You
seed,
know
no
what
one
I
would be
mean?
talking about
You
them.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
no
but
one would be
like,
talking about offense.
but that's what I mean. I don't think any of us had them even in the play-in, or like we had them in the play-in. So I had to reward that personally.
Yeah, no, dude, I felt like there was a stat, which is crazy, which is why it feels like rewarding them makes no sense. Where it was like their starters have like a net negative rating or some shit.
Really?
It's dead ass something like that. I swear I heard it on a podcast where it was like either they're starting five
Crazy.
or their starters or some shit, or like their 2 stars or whatever, just have like a not positive rating on the court. And I'm like,
crazy.
that feels like it makes sense to me because I don't know how the fuck they're like they're the 5th seed at this moment.
Talent, baby, talent.
Yeah, I mean they have a good team overall. They have a great team, but Zion has not been like the Zion that we've seen in previous years, and even Bi has been like super up and down. Like he, I think prior to like this year, he's just always had a lot of injuries and stuff like that. But he's been very inconsistent in my opinion this year. He has really good stretches, but then he also has stretches where he just like disappears for games on games. So yeah, I didn't really feel like rewarding the Pels.
But all right. So honorable mentions. I don't know. I don't know if y'all had any. So Laurie was one of mine.
Yeah.
Sengun was also another one of mine.
Yep.
I had the honorable mention. Wait, go ahead.
The Rockets were too far low for me to reward Sengun.
That's why they're my honorable mention. But he's been
I had him honorable mention too. But that's what I was saying with the Rockets, bro. I was like, they might still keep playing good, but they're gonna drop.
Yeah. I had the honorable mention Booker. And then Jamal.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray.
Both of those guys, I'm like, well, Jamal Murray is like, I mean, we already talked about.
I know he's like borderline.
He's always a borderline all-star, but
I'm
like,
gonna give him an honorable mention, man. He might.
No, I respect that.
Like,
I think.
Yeah,
I only honorable mentioned, I guess, Zion because of everything that I was saying. But like I said, it's not too big of a thingy. And then Sengun because he's actually playing like an all-star as well. Yep. It's just the team record is the thing that is affecting him.
Yep.
Well, for me, I had Kawhi and D-Book. Yeah.
D-Book missed too many games for me.
Yeah. That's why he's not.
Not like.
That's why.
Not that there's an actual cutoff. Yeah, but I'm just like, he's barely been like relevant this so far.
Kyrie's kind of someone I was thinking about as well. Not as an all-star, but as an honorable mention.
I could see that too because since Luka was out, like he's been balling.
Yeah,
I think there's unfortunately they're still trying to like figure out their chemistry and like their play together. But he was an All NBA player when Luka was out for sure.
Yeah,
dropping like 30 plus and hella consistent.
Yeah, like a 40-40 game with Tim Hardaway Jr., which is kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean,
somebody.
Go ahead.
Y'all saw that freaking tweet, right? I forgot who was an NFL player because Kyrie was on that heater.
Yeah,
and then he was like, "Yo, whatever the over under is for his points tonight, I'm gonna bet the over."
Le'Veon Bell, yeah, I seen that tweet. Yeah. I seen that tweet, and he did it. He bet the over.
For 13.
He's like, "Watch, I'm gonna change this shit."
The motherfucker bet the over, and he went 4 for 16.
That's so
it was against the Lakers, bro. I think.
Yeah.
Oh man. No, that's true though. That should be happening to me, man. I'm like, okay, someone's gonna score like 30 points, and then they'll score like 15. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, I think that's all we got, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't. Actually, wait. One more thing. Rest in peace to Dejan, whatever. Yeah, I can't pronounce his last name. The Warriors head coach, assistant head coach.
Oh yeah.
Coach.
Yeah, RIP to that coach. Assistant coach in the Warriors. I think he died of a heart attack.
Yeah.
Very that sucks, man.
Crazy situation to witness.
Yeah, they
and the postponed games make sense. Yeah. Like well, it's a lot to go through.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially like so abruptly. So.
Yep, I think he was from
Hope him and his family are good.
I think he's from Serbia too, right? So he's like close with Luka, close with the Raptors coach Jokic. So, RIP to him, man.
Yep. Hope the team and his family is cool.
Yeah.
And send the wishes to him.
All right. Until next time. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.